So, Chris, I'm actually going to ask you to hang on this slide for a few minutes as I talk about it, because although I'm here to talk with you about communications, I wanted to maybe provide a little bit of a header for all of our presentations, because as I was putting this presentation together, I was thinking about a theme that I think will in some way run through all of the presentations. And I say this without having created or seen any of the other presentations. It's just my knowledge of the district, which is that I imagine that all of our presenters in one way or another will hit on the topic of what we are proud to be able to do in our school district with limited resources. And sometimes you may hear us talk about limited financial resources, human resources or human capital, and that feeds very directly into our state of communications, because you're going to hear me speak with pride about what we have been able to do while acknowledging that we're doing it with not that many people involved in the responsibility for it. Slide, please. So when we speak about our district communications, of course, we have to talk about our platforms. And Chris, if you could just click the link to the website, because it only makes sense to start by talking about our website. So obviously, we are not going to do a deep dive into our website right now. I'm sure everybody has seen it. Maybe, Chris, you can just kind of scroll us down a little bit. But, you know, it's filled with information. Lots of district-wide information. It goes into community information as well, various ways to get to information, and of course it links to building websites as well. All right, and if we can go back to the slide, please. So what I want to point out to you is that this website, back slide, thank you. This website was created by our webmaster / media relations specialist, this one person, who built it from scratch. So this is a hand-built website. And that webmaster / media relations specialist is actually a webmaster / media relations specialist / technology back-end support, let's put it, because she also does clerical support and financial support for the technology department. It is a hand-coded website, so she has to put in all of the, anytime anyone wants to add something to the website, you're all familiar with that. I imagine everyone on this screen, or just about everyone, either gets emails, robocalls, or texts, or 2 or 3 of those anytime we have a district-wide announcement. I want to share that even though our goal isn't to dwell on what the last 12 months has brought us, there are some reasons to talk about the last 12 months when we talk about communications. And particularly when we talk about this, because I recently did a count, and over the past 12 months, and it was about 12 months ago that we started communicating about, hey, there's this virus out there that we need to start thinking about. We started talking about that 12 months ago. Since that time, we have pushed out between 60 and 65 emails, calls, and texts through Infinite Campus to our community. I want to pause here for a moment and talk about who's involved in that. So every time we do one of those, the email comes from me. I say that it comes from me. It doesn't necessarily mean that I write all of it. I have various people who help feed it. So, for example, anytime you see anything that has to do with food service, food service, sorry, that came together. Our director, our CSBO who works with our food service folks sends me things. So people send things in, but I put it all together as a communication. Then Stephanie, Dr. Diaz, our director of English learners, she translates it all into Spanish. Then we have Leslie, who I spoke about earlier, putting it up on the website. And then Brandon, who's in charge of Infinite Campus, he sends the whole thing out to you via an email, or you get a call or a text that says check the website. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback lately about how much information has gone out that way in the past year. Then there's Constant Contact, which is another tool that we can use. I'm going to share with you that it's not currently in use. It was being used by our schools to, similar to Infinite Campus, share out information. The difference is that Constant Contact is an opt-in tool, so families had to sign up for it. And what our schools were finding is that families weren't signing up for it, and then they weren't getting the information. Whereas Infinite Campus is a way that we know that it goes to everyone. Slide, please. We, of course, have our district email. It almost would seem ridiculous to include that on here, but I am, because when I scroll back to the last 12 months, I do want to share that we've had a lot of communication among staff members through district email. And every time we send information out to the community, it goes to our staff first. They always get a chance to know what's coming ahead of time, as well as, oh my gosh, for every of those 60 to 65 emails that have gone to the community, there's probably been 2 or 3 more that have gone to staff, 2 or 3 more, times that 60 to 65. It can be a lot, but the past year has been a lot, and it's required a lot of communication. And then there's Thought Exchange, which is a tool that's new to us this year. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it right now, because you will experience it a little bit later. Many of you have perhaps already participated in Thought Exchange. It's a tool that we purchased for our community and for our school district, so that people can have not just one-way communication, which is when you get an email or you get something through Infinite Campus, but you can actually find ways to communicate with each other and weigh in on others' thoughts. And we'll be doing that a little bit later. Slide, please. All right, we're going to talk about social media. You can see I put up here telling our story, because that's a way that we like to use social media, is to share out into the world, not just the information that you must have, but actually what we're doing. From the district level, our social media is managed by that same webmaster media relations specialist. And she works very hard to focus on what is happening for students and staff, what we're doing in our classrooms and our extracurriculars. I will share with you, and I spoke with her about this today, and she knew I was going to share this, that we had a very nice and deep conversation recently about how difficult it's been for her over the past year, that she's not been able to do this at all. Right? There hasn't been a sharing of our story in terms of what we are doing in our schools in a visual way. She's very excited that as of tomorrow, when our hybrid program starts, she'll be able to start doing that again. And she does that sharing through our Facebook account and our Twitter account as well. On the school end, various schools are telling their story on social media different ways. Some are using Facebook, some are using Twitter, some are using Instagram, some are using a combination thereof. And then I do want to make a nod to individuals, and specifically the use of Twitter. Those of you who know me well know that I do tweet a lot. And I tweet a lot, not really to hear the sound of my own voice, but because I think it's an important way for us to get our what we're doing in the district out into the world. And so I really make an effort to do that. And I started that from the first moment I got to district or was coming to the district. Sometimes I will tweet something out and our webmaster will retweet it. People will see it that way. Sometimes I will retweet something that she's put out, and a number of our staff members have started doing that kind of thing as well. It's kind of a grassroots effort that I'll share. I'm hoping we will continue to grow. And next slide, please. Then we have our Spanish translations. So district-wide, we have just over 900 students who speak Spanish in their homes. And for that reason, being able to make sure that the communication that we share out to our families is also shared out in Spanish is critically important. All of our district-wide communications are translated into Spanish, and I talked with you about that a moment ago. Avon and Prairie View and Frederick are 3 schools that currently have Spanish bilingual programs, and the school communication that in the 21-22 school year, our Spanish bilingual program is going to grow to our other 4 schools. So by next year, we will have Spanish bilingual classes in all of our. We're very excited about it. I'm mentioning it now because we will have to figure out a way to expand our Spanish translations into those schools. Next slide, please. Of course, we try very hard to make sure that we are communicating with our community, both sharing with the community what we're doing, but also trying to advertise, so to speak, what other members of the community are doing. So you will see us send out information from our park districts, from the library, from the PTOs, from our community engagement committee, and from Foundation 46. That's just a sample. There are plenty of other places that we communicate with as well. And then this felt like the right place to mention that we have a pretty low press profile. You may have different opinions about that. Some people may feel that that's not a good thing, that we do wonderful things in our school district and that we need to be finding ways to get that out into the world, into the press. And if you go looking at us in the newspaper, you're not going to see us very often. Other people may feel like that's okay, that we have a low press profile, that we're kind of a hidden gem and no news is good news. I'm not here to tell you which is the right answer, but just from an objective point of view, I am sharing with you that we do have a pretty low press profile at this time. And next slide. All right, and this is the last piece I wanted to talk with you about, is the concept of branding, which is something that we've just really started talking about in the school district. If you look at the bottom of this slide, you're going to see the phrase "One District, One Direction," and you're going to see the hashtag 1D46. One District, One Direction has been around in our school district for a while. I think it goes back to 2016, 2017. Paul, am I right about that? I can't see you. So yeah, I can see you. Am I right? Does that sound about right?
You're putting me on the spot, but
sorry.
yes.
Isn't that close? Probably around there? Okay, sorry. I think it's from around 16, 17. We've been using the term One District, One Direction. And we use the hashtag 1D40 district. That was one of the first questions I asked was, hey, I want to start a tweet. What's the hashtag? I was told that's the hashtag. Along with One District, One Direction, we have for the past, I understand, 5 years, had yearly themes. So in 16, 17, it was One District, One Direction, Destination Discovery. The next year it was Charting Our Course, then Reaching New Heights Together, then Sword of Success, and then Moving Forward Together. And those are yearly themes that have actually just been used internally, really, for the most part, with our staff, where we might just, build on that as we do our Institute Days, that kind of thing. Then we have our district office sign. So if you were to drive up to our district office, that beautiful little farmhouse we have outside of Frederick School, you'll see a sign that says Striving for Excellence. I actually learned only today that is a kind of a holdover from a former mission statement. So it was the mission statement, I was told, we're currently living under, that we're not able to quote, right? But prior to that, probably people could quote this one. It was Striving for Excellence. That is on the front door. Then we have the mission and vision. I'm not going to go into those. We've spent 2.5 meetings talking about those, right? Then there's the logo. The logo is at the bottom of this slide. And, this logo has been around for a while. I would wonder, as we build our mission and we build our vision, I'm just simply going to throw out the question, might it be time to find a different logo that would fit our new mission and our new vision? The one that we have in place perhaps met the needs that we had at the time it was created, and perhaps this is an opportunity to refresh our logo. And then we have this presentation template. So in a few minutes, a little bit, you're going to hear from Chris Vipon, and you're going to see that when he presents about technology, he's going to be using the exact same template. This is brand new for our district. The idea that anytime we are presenting to our district on behalf of our district, we want to be recognized in a certain way. So this is the one that we've settled on for now. Obviously, if we make changes based on the work of this team, it will likely impact our template. But the concept is someone should look at materials that are ours, just like you look at letterhead and say, oh, that's District 46. You should be able to look at a presentation and say, oh, that's District 46. New slide, please. Next slide, and this just brings me to the end.